All right. I think we are live. Hey, friends. We did it. We're at stream number 2. We didn't break it bad enough in stream number 1 that we all gave up. That's good. We're back again. My name's Andrew. This is Code Gets Creative. This is a stream all about creative coding, whether that's about creating art, creating music, creating games, creating electronics, anything where we take code and we do something creative with it. That we might not normally get to do with code. So kind of fun. Today, the project is all about controlling Philips Hue lights with a JavaScript library that's called Blockly. Let me show you what each of these pieces are. So, I'm going to use my phone here. I've got the Philips Hue app open, and I can turn on the little light that I've got here. Yeah, it's a light. And this is fun because it's like an RGB light bulb, so I can like make it change colors to all different fun colors. We've got this like cool pink color now. Here's purple, here's blue. I'm realizing it probably doesn't look super good like over the stream. It would look better at night and like with, when it was like the only lighting. But you get the idea. I'm controlling the app from here, and it's really cool. But there's only so much we can do from like right here. Now, there's an API that we can call to control the lights. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So here's their developer site. You want to like get access to their SDK and do stuff. And they've got a whole list of like different client libraries that will let you control your lights in different languages. Here's the one that I found and that I liked. This is the Node Hue API. So this is NodeJS and JavaScript. Lets you do everything that you would need. Like you can discover your Hue bridge. That's like the little box that is on your Wi-Fi. You can discover that, and then you can send commands to that, and that in turn will like relay commands through to all of the lights that are set up in your house. And we can like dig deeper into this later. Turn the sound down a little bit. But yeah, we can do all that, and that's cool because that opens the door to do like way fancier stuff. Like instead of just turning the light red, turning the light blue, we can do stuff like, I don't know, turn the light red and then gradually fade it to blue and then fade back to red and like just loop that so it makes this cool kind of ambient evolving thing, nice experience. It's really fun when you're like gaming, for example. There's a game I love to play called Subnautica. It's this like survival / crafting game where you're like under the ocean in this alien planet, and when you've got like the Philips Hue lights going in the background at the same time, it's this awesome experience. So when those lights gradually change, it's this very immersive kind of experience. So that's great. But what if we could go even further and say we want everybody to be able to like have really deep control of their lights, even if they're not programmers? And that's where Blockly and Scratch come into play. So let me show you Scratch first. I think you've all seen Scratch, even if you don't know it by name. Here's the homepage. We're on scratch.mit.edu. And I'm going to go to my stuff. I'm ADJ555 if you want to follow me. And let me just open up one of these projects. Oh, and I want to click See Inside. So this is actually the classic programming interview question FizzBuzz implemented in Scratch. So Scratch is these colorful blocks where you can drag things around and you can snap them together. And you've got this kind of like Lego bin filled with blocks that you can drag stuff in and it all snaps together. But you can build all of this up and create logic the same way that you would create logic in text-based code. And the reason that this is so special is that it's kind of teaching a whole generation how to code, right? There's a website called code.org, and there's a project called The Hour of Code that like elementary schools all over America are using Scratch, this environment, to learn how to program and learn about logic and learn about data and do all these cool things. And that's like a stepping stone to eventually go to text-based code. But I mean, it's plenty powerful in and of itself. Like Scratch in and of itself can do all sorts of cool things. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab the Scratch editor and we're going to embed it into our own app. And we're going to define a bunch of custom blocks that will let us tell our Philips Hue lights to do specific things. So you can see, for example, that this says like start sound meow, because like this fun little cat will like say a word. And we don't want to like start a sound. We want to like set a color. This actually has like, yeah, this has colors in some ways, but I mean, it'll be like colors to control the lights. And so we can have blocks for, you know, set the light's color to be this, or break the color into different values, like red values, green values, blue values, and then make changes to each of those. And we could do different color spaces like RGB or HSL, hue, saturation, luminosity, or hue, saturation, brightness, depending on which one they use. But we'll define all of these blocks, and then we'll let anybody just play with those blocks in order to control their lights in really deep ways, which would be cool. So in order to do that, we need to grab the library that actually powers Scratch here. And that library is Blockly. So we're here on developers.google.com/Blockly. It's a project that was basically joint between a group at Google and a group at MIT. They teamed up and they built this library, and then like all of their research for like how children learn logic and learn code kind of like went into both of those projects, and Blockly powers Scratch. And to be more specific, there's actually a fork of Blockly that powers this most recent iteration of Scratch. So this looks a little bit different. Maybe this looks a little outdated. But there is actually a different renderer now for Blockly that makes it look pretty much like the Scratch website as well. So the two have kind of caught up to each other at this point, and we can do all kinds of powerful stuff with it. You can go here to like, I don't know, see other things that are built with it. Yeah, you can like explore. There's actually like a fair amount of like community around Blockly, which is really fun. So there's videos across YouTube. Like there was recently a Blockly user summit this year, and there's all kinds of stuff you can see. Like this is especially fun to try out if you want to like build creative code type stuff that other people can use. If you have young kids, if you've got like family members or friends that are interested in like the logic of code, but they're uncomfortable to get started with, you know, all the scary ins and outs of text-based programming, right? So it's really cool. Like it's a great way to kind of democratize coding and let lots of people experience it and get the power out of it. So we're going to be using this. In order to do that, let's go over to Excalidraw. We used this last time, so we've got like the project that we built in the last stream. You can check that out on YouTube. That's now a video. So let's just scooch over here, and let's just kind of plan out like how this will work. So from a UI perspective, we've got our browser, right? This is a web browser. Try to convince you all that this is a web browser. I guess web browsers have like a URL bar. And then at that point, we're going to have the Blockly interface. So that interface has a toolbox on the side, right? That's this thing right here. So you can like open this up and you've got different blocks inside of there. And then you've got the main workspace that lives over here. And so, I don't know, we'll like put in a couple of these blocks. Try to make it look convincing that, you know, it's a bunch snapped together. And then I guess we need like a big run button. So let's see. Do like click, 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 click. I wonder if I can make that. Oh yeah, here we go. Sharp edges. Oh, there. That's our play button. I don't know. We can put that like down here. We can do a floating action button or something. Resize that a little bit. I think something like that would work. This is the UI though, right? So we'll build all of these blocks up, but then how do we actually send all these messages to the Philips Hue lights? And let's switch to some like boxes and arrows in order to talk about that. I think we're gonna have the UI, which is like Blockly and React around it to kind of like glue everything together. But then we're gonna need like a backend server. So I'm planning on doing Node.js for that. And we've already got, remember we already looked at this Node Hue API. So this will power the server, or this will be the library that the server calls. And then we're gonna have the Hue bridge, which is a physical box in my house. The UI calls the server calls the bridge, and then the bridge calls each of the lights. Here, we'll do a bunch. Because we want to make this thing work for multiple lights. So there we go. We got a bunch of lights now. 5. If you press the 5 key, then you can automate the arrow. Okay, that all looks good. Where's that server going to run though? My plan currently is to run that on a little Raspberry Pi. So let me switch back over here. Here's my Raspberry Pi. That focus. This is a Raspberry Pi 4. Great little computer. You can get this for like 35 bucks on the internet. And then the case is just a little bit more. But this is amazing. Like it's a little credit card sized computer. It's got a multi-core CPU inside. It's got a few gigs of RAM. I can't remember how much, but like pretty decent amount of power. And then it's got all these peripherals, right? So you can do stuff with that if you want. It's got GPIO pins if you want to do kind of lower level embedded electronics with it. And it's also got Wi-Fi. So we can connect this little guy to the Wi-Fi network, grab all that Node.js code, slap it on here, and then we can navigate to the web server that this is hosting from a phone or from a computer, and then make our programs. Click play. We can save the programs to here so that if we close out of the browser, it'll still be around. And then this will be sending all those commands to the Hue bridge, and everything will happen from there. Cool. Okay, so that's our plan. I think at this point we're ready to start writing a little bit of code. That should be cool. My plan for the code at this point, in terms of like the stream, is I'm going to be focusing just on the UI today. There's a lot of really fun, interesting problems here. So I'm thinking like, let's do this. It'll be a create React app for now, and we'll get Blockly rendered in. We'll make a couple of custom blocks. And then next time, kind of depending on how far we get, next time we can start to focus on the server and actually wiring up this functionality so that we can actually like do something with our lights. But let me first convince you that I actually can control the lights from the server and from that library. So I have a little bit of code already figured out. We've got that here. I'll give you a quick demo of that. There's just a few like node scripts. So we've got a script in here with a run function. Notice how we are requiring the Node Hue API. It's got kind of a funny interface for like how to get the things inside of it. You know, we're like require it and then get .v3 and then get .api out of that and do some stuff. But eventually that's like a client, right? So we can grab our local IP address and then connect to it using a client secret essentially. And then at that point we can start making API requests that'll like get the status of lights or change the status of lights. And so what this is doing is it gets all lights and then it's going to loop over the lights, right? Filter and say, just give me the reachable lights, like anything that's actually plugged in. So for now, that'll just give me this one light. The other ones are all unplugged. And then for each of those reachable lights, we're going to log out some details about that light. And then we will set light state, which is where we're saying like, hey, change the color of this thing or turn it on, turn it off. So you can see how we grab the ID of the light. This should be ID 3. And then we say the on state should be the opposite of whatever it currently is. So just toggle it on and off. But then also change the hue. And you'll notice that this is kind of an ugly looking bit of math. Basically, I took this number. They're expressing the hue as a number between 0 and 65535, which is some number of bits. Is that 32 bits? Let's find out. Oh, wrong hotkey. 32-bit integer. We gotta say like unsigned integer max. Okay, it's not 32-bit. It's 16-bit. Right? I should just know this, huh? We should all just recognize that number as like, oh yeah, that's so many bits. Where does it say it? 655. I don't even see it in here. Whatever. I mean, it looks like, yeah. Looks like that's our answer. So it's a 16-bit number. Cool. And so then what we're doing is I basically want to rotate the hue. Normally we think about hue, like if you open up Adobe Photoshop, hue is like 0 to 360, right? Like red, bright red is 0 degrees in hue. And then if you go all the way around the color wheel, then 360, where it wraps back around, is also red again. And so if we do a little bit of math here, it's this divided by 360 gives us roughly 182. So some number times 182 gives us a degree, gives us a number of degrees. So we've converted from one unit into another. So that's that number. And then I'm saying like I want to rotate by 30 degrees. So that'll change it a fair amount. It'll gradually move it across the unit circle. And then we're going to set the brightness to 100, which means like max brightness. And now that I think about it, for the purposes of the stream, I'm going to drop it down because I think it might like be easier to see on the camera. Yeah, so that's what that does. I think we should run it and give it a try. So I'm just going to do npm start. Think for a minute. And sure enough, we got a cool purple light. Let's see if I'm smart enough to run this with just one hand. Runs it, and it turned off, yep. And now I run it again. And turn on this time. I don't know what just happened. That was weird. Okay, that time it turned on. And the hue has rotated, so that's good. Turned off. Can we turn it back on? Yep, there we go. And we rotated. Turn it back off. Turn it back on. Sweet. So you get the idea. And eventually we're gonna have, you know, fun, colorful hue blocks that are actually, or fun, colorful Blockly blocks that are actually making all this happen, and everybody else won't have to look at all this code. Let's see. So we talked about this script. This script is like less interesting. It's all about how do you discover a bridge if you've like never communicated with it before. This is literally just copied and pasted out of one of their examples. So if you want to try this at home, just go to the Node Hue API and you can grab it off of there. Okay, on to front end code. So we've got this repo. I think we're ready to just run create React app like inside of here. I would like to do kind of a like mono repo approach here, where we're gonna have like a subfolder for the UI, subfolder for the server. That way everything's checked into source control together, like in one place. Makes it easier to manage, makes it easier to build like a Docker image if that's how we want to like put it on the Raspberry Pi. That way we don't have to worry about like installing Node.js or other dependencies like on the, you know, on the box itself. So let's go ahead and do that then. We want to do create React app, but we can do that from npx. And actually, let's do this first so we can see the usage of create React app. Let's see. Oh, I want TypeScript, I think. That'd be awesome. And maybe we won't worry about it for this time, because we're having fun. Now let's do it. Let's do types. I'm not sure whether this is like the latest, like the latest and greatest way to get TypeScript in your Create React app though. So maybe let's actually like run over to here and just double check how they recommend running it, because I want my TypeScript now. Not in there. Look at that. Call npx. Yep. Tell me about TypeScript though. Tell me. Making it harder. Okay, here's some documentation. Get started. Okay, yeah. So it kind of looks like this is the official way to do it these days. Oh, I'm noticing here that like you can select the package manager, and I have Yarn, but I kind of prefer just npm because it means like fewer system dependencies. So let's maybe do that. Here we can start kind of crafting this incantation that we're gonna run. So we're just gonna call it UI because that's like the folder we want, and then we can rename like the package inside of it once we're done. But then we want this flag here. And I think that's everything we need. So let's go ahead and run that. The working title of this project is Light Blocks, which I think is kind of fun. Light Blocks. This will... Should we put it up on GitHub today, or should we wait? We should do it. In fact, we can do that right now, as it installs dependencies. So here's my GitHub. We're going to create a repository. Wait, did I already do this? Let's find out. Git status. I have not done this yet. Cool, let's do it. So we're going to call this Light Blocks. And we're going to call this control Philips Hue lights with blocks. We're going to make it public. So if you're watching this stream or video, look in the description for the link. I'm also going to chuck this in the chat right now. And we're not going to initialize it with anything because we'll be able to do that locally. Okay. Grab this. We're going to say git remote add origin that. Oh, just kidding. Git init. And then we can actually add an origin. Or we can add a remote. Now that looks like this. Cool. We are actually going to need a .gitignore, so set that up. We're also going to want a README. And then call this Light Blocks. And then in the future, we can put usage instructions, all that good stuff. Okay, let's fix this gitignore before everything blows up. Node modules is excluded from every directory. And we can exclude other stuff later. I think there's a build directory in here. Yeah, I appreciate that they give us a gitignore for that directory. Cool. And it just finished, so that's great. Looks like it installed an older template with some security vulnerabilities, so we can probably just do npm audit fix. npm audit. Did that not fix any? Oh, turns out you have to run that in the directory where that exists. Okay, so we'll let that do its thing. Meanwhile, I think we should probably move this like scripty stuff somewhere else. So, oh, what? That didn't fix anything. Okay, cool. We'll have to do some updates really later. That's going to be too boring to watch on the stream. I'm not going to do it live. Run npm audit when you clone this for the first time just to confirm that everything looks good. Okay. But let's move the script. So we'll say script. And right now it's just everything in source. So maybe we'll just that. We should give this a new name. We can call it like toggle lights. Yeah. Then we can delete the source directory. We'll have like child source directories for this stuff. So then at that point, yeah, we're ready to start up the dev server. So we'll run this. This will think for a minute. There we go. Awesome. So we've got a bunch of this like default stuff that we can kind of throw away. So let's go ahead and do that now. Here's app tsx. And we've got all kinds of stuff we can just nuke. So delete the image, we'll delete the paragraph, delete this. Yeah, and it's like, hello world, code gets creative. And then we'll remove that. And if I remember correctly, you don't actually need to import React in Create React App anymore. It'll manage all the like JSX pragma stuff for us. That's cool. Save that. Sure enough, code gets creative. Oh hey, while I'm thinking about it, I didn't actually drop this link in the chat. So let's actually like push something up. So let's say git add scripts, git add. Oh, we should move package.json and stuff into there. That's specific to the scripts. That. And then this should actually point to what should it be? ToggleLights.js. And then this should be ./ToggleLights.js. So now at this point, I can go into the scripts directory, say npm start. Oh, and then we gotta move node modules. Huh. What did we do? Let's see here. TCP connect wrap dot after connect. So is this because our dev server is running? Let's see. No? It's kind of weird. I wonder if something is like scrambled up by changing our file system around. So I'm just gonna nuke node modules really quick, and then we'll do another npm install. Does this change anything? Oh. The other thing that might need to change, I do have this .env file that I will do my best to not show over the over the stream. There we go. And yeah, sure enough, this is turned on. Run it again and it'll turn off. Cool. Okay. Now let's not commit this. There we go. And then we should change this so it includes a .env file. And we'll add the README. I don't think we're ready to add the UI just yet. Like let's get rid of some of the boilerplate first, and then we can check that in. We'll just say this is an initial commit for scripts. Cool. Git push view origin master. So now if we run over here, we have code. Sweet. All right, so we'll grab this and we'll paste it in. There we go. All right, well, cool. Let's keep going with this. We can delete some more of this boilerplate stuff, and we can pull in the Blockly editor. So some of this stuff is going to be like favicon and stuff. I think these are also favicons. Let's leave those alone for now. But like, here's this other logo that spins. You can delete that. This stuff I think is fine. Yeah, I think we're good there. Okay, cool. So at this point, let's see if we can grab Blockly and bring it in. So we'll head over to npm. Somebody has already made a really cool wrapper for Blockly. It's called React Blockly. This one. I used this on a project once before, went pretty well. Yes, this is the one. Look at that, looks like they're about to release version 7, so that's cool. Oh, we probably don't want version 7 just yet if it's still in alpha, so we'd say at 6 and it'll figure out the rest. That load. The way that we actually call this though oh. Oh dear. Okay, so this might turn into a problem if like it's not going to be maintained going forward. Hey, maybe we should help maintain it. We'll see. But it looks like TypeScript typings are missing, so we may have to write some. We'll see. Okay, but here's like the usage. So you import some stuff, and then you create a workspace. Awesome. All right, that's installed. Let's find out what version it brought in. This is the scripts package. We want the UI package. There it is, 601. Cool, sounds good. Now's my chance to rename this to like Lightblocks UI. Cool. Let's run the dev server again. Double check that this thing's still live. Yeah. And let's see, we can close some of this other stuff. And really, we won't even need the Node Hue API for the rest of this. So that. Yeah, so let's try rendering our workspace. And we can just chuck this into the app for now. And it's going to complain about typings missing. Hey, there's a hook. I didn't use the hook last time. We can migrate. Let's find out what's actually that ref must be passed. Oh wow. Oh, that's just for the hook. Okay. Well, yeah, let's delete this. Call this like initial XML, and I don't think this is actually required. So I'm gonna try just deleting that. Whatever classes are appropriate for your app CSS. I believe this is actually like we need to like fill the container, so we'll end up setting some CSS for that. Okay, so two things at this point. We've got to define some initial XML, which I think we can grab from the Blockly developer tools. Then we've got this problem. Let's see if it exists. npm install save dev at types react blockly, and we'll see if just somebody else has contributed this. Yeah, it doesn't exist. Okay, so great. We will get to define our own, which I'm not as excited about. I'm not very good at writing these. Ugh. Yeah, we don't put it there. I believe you can just start defining that anywhere. Let's see. TypeScript. If I remember correctly, you declare a namespace. Namespace. Oh, look at that. External modules are now simply modules as to align with ES 2015. Oh wait, namely that module X is equivalent to the now preferred namespace X. Okay, so we like namespace. So let's try namespace React Blockly. I think you can put it in quotes like that. No? Oh, maybe it's not a namespace. Ooh. Oh, wait, what is it? Namespace declaration. I think we don't care about this part because we're not like using old school imports exports, but I think this part we do care about. So it might just be that keyword declare. Declare namespace React Blockly. And then maybe we do. Oh, hey. Declare module React Blockly. Look at that. It's like telling us how to do it. Augmented. I wonder if this is. Wait. There. I think this is probably like. This probably just means that we need like a separate module to define this. Okay, so now it knows that React Blockly is a thing that exists. So Blockly workspace is a function, but it's like a I think it's a react.fc. Let's yeah, okay, so it knows that this is a react.fc, and then we just need to define the props for it. So let's props. We can call it like this. I'm surprised that it doesn't understand class name. Class name string, initial XML string is not assignable to type intrinsic attributes. Intersect with Blockly workspace props. Intersect with children is a React name. I wonder if maybe this is actually not correct. You know what we can do? I'm a bad person, and watch this. I'm just gonna say, you know what I'm about to do. Yep. We can come back to this later and actually like define some decent types for Blockly workspace. For now, it's not going to give us any help at all. But everything that's within our app itself, all the state management, whatever, that can be strongly typed, and that'll still give us a lot of help. And then we can come back to this, define this stuff, and then the creator of this library, we can open up a pull request, and we can like contribute this, and it'll be awesome. So that's for the future. Okay, but in the meantime, yeah, this builds, runs. Let's just make like an edit. Oh, it doesn't build. This is an old error, so I think if we restart this, it'll figure it out. Should be a small app. There we go. That builds, and then if I hard refresh, okay, that other thing didn't render. Now, look at this. We've got all this Blockly stuff. There's like an injection div and stuff like that. Now, you'll notice, though, that everything is like 1651 pixels wide by 0 pixels tall. So this is where that custom class comes in. Oh, I'm dumb. This class name, yeah, this is just for like the wrapper. But there is also what I'm actually talking about is, oh no, just kidding. It actually is this. Oh, so class name is not like a default React thing. Okay, so that's probably why we saw that error with class name before. I think, yeah, that would make sense. Okay, so let's call this like fill height or something like that. So if we want to say fill height, let's do some CSS real quick. I'm going to delete all this. Probably don't want centered. Fill height. This is going to be height 100%. Now, we're going to have to change some other stuff if that'll actually fill its height. So let's see, HTML is 0 pixels tall, so is body probably. So we've got an index CSS. So let's say HTML is width 100%, height 100%, body is that. Sure, we'll keep the font defaults for now. And then we've got this div ID equals root, so that React knows how to render itself. And we're going to say that this is also 100% each direction. And then at that point, let's see where we're at. So we're filling that container with root. Okay, and then we have app, and app is not filling its container. So let's fix app now. There's that, and that'll belong in this other style sheet. So do that. I think eventually we're going to end up with like more of a flexbox layout where we've got like a little top nav, and we've got you know, the editor filling the rest of the page is like flex grow 1. Well, but I don't think we're there yet. So for now, let's just do this. Okay, so app fills its container. And then we've got these other divs that do not have a class name of fill height, so I don't know what happened to that. We'd save that, right? Yeah, I mean look, it's all in that. It's just invisible. Let's run over to the examples in the repo, because if I remember correctly, they have some examples that are runnable in here. No. Source? Dev index? Might be that. Yeah, I remember seeing that. Oh, look at that. Class name equals fill height. I guess we're looking at the version 7.x code. Hey, this was published just 10 hours ago. That's really cool. This is like breaking news. Yes, this is that first alpha. Oh, but I remember working with V6. Okay, we'll go back to V6. And if we go into here, oh, look at that. They renamed it in version 7. Okay, well, cool. Let's use the version 6 one for now. I don't think we're interested in like using the alpha version that was published, you know, today. Look at that. Div class equals that. Oh, can you see why? All right, try one more time. Let's let this. Okay, refresh it. Okay, so these are getting applied now. That's good. And then that. Okay, so oh yeah. Okay, this little gray bar is the toolbox, so that's great. Let's see. I think this example actually includes a grid. Yeah, here let's grab this as well. So this is our workspace configuration. Yep, so we've got this little grid. I think you can probably see that on the stream. And then we need some actual XML. Let's see if we can steal that out of the demo as well. config files.initialXML. Let's go check that out. Content. Hey, look at that. That's pretty minimal. So we've got an XML document, and then you see we have a block with a field, and that's it. It's a text block. So it's a string literal. This probably doesn't make a lot of sense if you've never seen this before. Don't worry, we'll dig into that. For now, let's just chuck this in here. I'm gonna do some formatting. Go. Yeah, okay, let's see if this works. Nice, look at that. We have rendered a thing. And it can be like, code gets created. Awesome. Okay, so at this point, we've got our boilerplate stuff. This should probably be a commit. I'm gonna, you know what I'm gonna do? I think I can put this right here. Refresh, yeah, it initializes with that. So I think this is a good commit because now we actually have an editor rendering. It's not, I mean, like it's not much to look at yet, but this gets us all set up so that we can start defining our custom blocks, and I think that's the next thing. So git add UI, let's see what that looks like. Is there anything surprising in here? No, I think we're good. And let's say add UI boilerplate. That up. And where did that go? Here's light blocks. There we go. UI. Okay. Cool. So now I think we're ready to make those custom blocks like I was talking about. And I don't really have anything like planned at this point. I've got some general ideas, but this is going to be me just kind of like making some guesses and experimenting some. My experience with these blocks is that if you're making an editor that's very like domain specific or is like specific to your thing, you have to iterate a little bit on like the shape of the blocks and what the blocks should look like and how they interact with each other. And so I think we'll take a first pass at it, and then we'll end up changing a bunch of stuff, and that'll be fun. But fortunately, there's an easy way to do that. On the Blockly website, they have this thing called Blockly Developer Tools, which I think is in here. No, it's not in here. Go back. Right? Yeah, create custom blocks. And then we've got Blockly Developer Tools. Here we go. Okay, so let's go to the Blockly Developer Tools. And what we're looking at here is it's very fun. Like we're actually going to use Blockly to configure and create Blockly. Very meta. We've got this library here. We can create a block. So maybe we should have a block that's like set color. Set color. Right now, this is what our block looks like. This is our preview. Then what we do is we start adding some of these things. Happen to know that we probably want to do. And let's say let's say we want to do like red, green, and blue. No, let's say that we want to do like HSV brightness, right? So maybe we'll do like we want to do like a value input here. H, S, and B. So what this means, and we'll have to go over to another place to experiment with this, but now we can plug in numbers right here, or like variables, and we can like control the color that way. One thing that might make this look a little nicer though is we can say inline inputs. So now this like reads a little bit more like a book. It's like, you know, just a single sentence. Another like convention is like usually it starts with lowercase. I'm gonna keep these uppercase because it's like, you know, the acronym HSP, or the like they're shortenings, abbreviations. So that'll let us do that. Let's see, the other thing that's missing here is this block doesn't have any connection to other blocks. So no connections. We actually want to do top and bottom connections. Right, like that. So now this is like a statement. Like if we go over to JavaScript land, I don't know. This is like const initial HTML, const initial XML is assigned this templated string. And so like this whole thing is the statement, and then you can start to break it down. Like the abstract syntax tree that's happening here is the statement includes a variable assignment expression where this is on the left side, this expression, which happens to be just a string literal, is on the other side, but all that gets combined. I don't know why I went so in depth in that. I'm like really enthusiastic about interpreters and parsers and stuff, so you'll find me like going off on tangents about that kind of stuff in the future too. But yeah, back to Blockly. Let's see. I think this is looking pretty good. Like we've got a block. Let's create another one. Oh, I gotta click this little green save button. Okay, so that's there now. I'm gonna create a new one. And then let's call this... basically what I'm thinking of is like we need a way to kind of control like the life cycle of this program. So I think we want the program to live forever, or maybe it's more like we want the program to start up, but maybe it's long running if you're like loop forever, or maybe it's like just run this thing and then finish. Okay, so maybe we don't want that actually. We probably just want an initial block that's like start the program. So this might be like when, or maybe we'll just call it like start. And I'm gonna go back over to Scratch here. The analogy with that is you see how like when the green flag is clicked, like it's an event. Like you can find it in here. Notice how all of the events have, except for these are like statements, but when an event is received, that's like the very first thing that happens, right? Like you can't have a statement above an event because you're really defining an event handler that picks up like when the event happens. So I think we want the same thing. That means that we will have a bottom connection, but not a top connection. And so then probably want to say like when the program starts. Maybe something like that. And yeah, like this doesn't have the cool swoop on the top. It's called a hat. There's apparently a way to turn that on in the themes. You can like define themes for Blockly, which is like different colors, different settings about, you know, hats and other like, yeah, stuff about rendering. So I think that'll give us what we want. Okay, so that looks good. Then I think we should do, okay, we should have another 2 blocks that are like turn the light on, turn the light off. So let's create another one. And we can call this like light on. Oh, my emoji picker is opening. So I think, wait, I'm making a mess. We want a dummy input. These are kind of hard to get used to, but these different kinds of inputs are basically like a dummy input means there's no connection. Input is kind of a synonym for connection here. So a dummy input means we're going to show like text here. Hello world. But we're not going to have like, we're not going to have little puzzle piece connections so that other blocks snap in. Now we could still have like, we could put like a text input. You see how like, this is cool. We can have that, I guess. And we can even have this like color, which is great. I think this isn't going to do everything that we need, so we're going to end up writing our own. But you get the idea that like we've got these different inputs, but they're different from like a connection. So dummy input is for like inline type stuff. Value input is where you can snap in a block from the side, and then a statement input is where you see how you can like plug stuff that's nested inside. And an example of using that is control flow. So here's like, if something is true, then do whatever's in here. That's a statement input. And then once that block is finished, then boom, you like pick up below that. And here's, you know, if something is true, do this, else do this other thing, or like repeat 10 times this stuff. So that's what a statement input does. We don't need that. We actually want to say turn the light on. This is turn the light on singular, right? So I think we need to eventually build this in a way that works with multiple lights, because like I own 4 lights and I would love to be able to control all of them, but there's all sorts of questions about like, do you write the same program and then it like executes in parallel 4 times, one for each light, or is the editor actually going to tell you like, I'm able to reach these 4 different lights, you can write a separate chunk of program for each of them. Like we're not going to worry about that yet, so let's just build this for like 1 light, make it work for 1 light, and then we can kind of zoom out and figure out like, how do we make this work for multiple? I think that should be good. So we're going to turn the light on. Let's see, this should be top and bottom. So that's a statement. And then we want to recreate this for turn the light off. So we want a dummy input. Turn the light off. That's, oh yeah, and then we need to add top and bottom connections. Save that. Let's see. So turn light on, turn light off. It's almost identical. Cool. Okay, so we've got our 4 little blocks. This is pretty cool. Here is a thing where we can kind of interact with it. Yeah. Oh, so there's like an easy way to export blocks, which is cool. We'll need this. And then here's the workspace factory, which lets us kind of set up the toolbox and that kind of stuff. But check this out. We can start to... Oh. Thanks, sir. What am I doing wrong here? It's just disappearing. I want to like play with the blocks over here. I wonder if there's a button over here. I don't know. Let's not worry about that. I think we can actually just get this plugged right in. So let's switch back over to like set color. Where'd it go? Ah, there it is. Wait, that's rendering weird. Stay on the page. Okay, let's just grab, we're gonna grab this. So you'll notice that there are different ways. Oh no, we don't want this. We want this. There are different ways that we can define our blocks, and I think this is the one that we'll want. This will like let us do custom stuff later if we need to. We might especially need this if we want like a color picker. But notice how it grabs Blockly, Blockly.blocks at index set color is assigned this thing, and notice how it's like init is a function. So this is kind of like an old school JavaScript class where we're like assigning functions onto properties of an object, and then we can new them up and that kind of stuff. So the interface looks a little funny, but it totally works. So we should actually be able to run this right here. We need Blockly to be in scope. So we're going to say this. And let's see, it knows that Blockly exists, but I'm guessing it has no idea what this is. So how are we going to appease that? We have to go look up the types for Blockly. Go. Let's go over here, and I think they should have like a TypeScript definition file. Ooh. Where is it? Maybe it might get built, so it's not actually checked into source control. Typings? Yeah, let's see, what do we have here? That's loading. Okay, here we go. This is a, oh my gosh, this is a 22,000 line file. No big deal. So let's see, what are we looking for here? You know what we could do? Like, let's just search for this really quick. Yeah, there's only one of them, and this is on the... I think it's on the block class. Yeah, okay, so this is what we want to reference in order to fix all of our types. So I think we should be able to say, let's see, how do we, I mean, I could probably do something like this. This equals this, which is absurd. See, I don't want to have to do this every time. But I mean, it does fix our problem. It would also be nice if we said block. We can like pull that out. I kind of, I don't think I want to import this separately because I want to see that I'm actually like, I'm making changes to Blockly right here. Let's run over to Stack Overflow for a minute. We're gonna say TypeScript coerce this keyword. Yeah, maybe it's cast this. Yeah, you know what we could do is we could just say like let block equal this. And then everywhere that we're mutating this, we just do that to block. What is it complaining about? Not sure. And that the object type is assignable to very few other types. Do you mean to use any type? Type object is missing the following properties for block. I mean, that sounds to me like it doesn't like the blockly.block interface. Class. So here's an idea. Let's change it back to this, but we'll just say like this as block. Does that complain? No, it doesn't. Look at that. So this has no error. I keep saying the word this. It's really hard not to overload this. So that line's fine. That line blows up. And it's because we're not casting the this keyword to block. Yeah, I mean we can do that. It's not my favorite, so I think later we should figure out a way to rewrite that. That's just so dumb. I don't like it. Let's find a better way. I'm seeing a lot of like, well, that's initializing or declaring but not initializing. Yeah, I mean, we could do that. We could say like bracket, block, bracket, this dot, do stuff. As is just a keyword. It's actually telling you. I don't think that's even like, yeah, that's all kinds of problems. It's not a, yeah, I think it's because like this is a keyword, not an identifier. It's like this special case. So really, like, we're gonna have a better shot at making this style work. I wonder, yeah, we probably want to do this actually. And then it infers it because we cast it. But yeah, okay, that works. That looks pretty good. I am satisfied. Change that. Cool. Okay, so we've defined a set color block. It's not actually going to exist though. Like if we boot up our app, we've still got that initial XML right here. I don't really want to write the, like, I don't want to have to write this for all of this stuff from scratch. So I believe the example can actually help us. It'll help us define a toolbox that then we can pull stuff out of. Yeah. This is coming back to me. So notice how we've got like toolbox categories equals this .state.toolbox categories. And there's a bunch of stuff. This is like an old style class component in React. So when the component mounts, we're going to set state. Toolbox categories is assigned this thing. Oh, wait, no. What do we start with? Oh, we start by parsing that XML. Yay. But then notice how we like concatenate some other stuff onto it. And so I think that's what we want to do. We can just kind of glue some stuff on. So let's say toolbox categories, missing that auto completion. Got to write those declarations. So I'm gonna make this a constant for now. And this will be a great opportunity to use some TypeScript to define what the shape actually is. So, oh no, I remember this is documented over here. I think we're looking at the yeah, look at that. We want this thing in version 6. So okay, once again, we're using the stable version, not version 7. If you're just joining now, version 7 came out today. Not even version 7, like alpha.1 for version 7 came out today. So we're not using that. We're using the stable version. And that here are the docs for that. So toolbox categories is an array of categories. Each category is an object including the following properties. Great. So we're going to say toolbox category is an interface, and it includes name, it includes custom, and this is actually, this should be an enum. Let's call it that. And this should either be variable or procedure. what is that, you ask? That is right here. So you can like create variable or create a function, that kind of stuff. They're kind of like baked right into the framework. And so that's what that means if you say to display this like custom thing. We're not going to need those just yet though. So name, custom, categories. Oh, so you can nest categories underneath each other? I'm going to skip that for now. Yeah, so now an array of blocks. So this should be like a toolbox block array. We'll define that. Toolbox block. And that has, wait. No. That has type. And that's a string. Color is a string. Yeah. Shadow. I think it's, let's do this, I think. Fill in with details from, and then I'm just gonna grab this. Cool. So now we can say this is of type toolbox category array. And now it's like, hey, I don't like that because we don't have a name. So let's call this colors. And then the blocks should be an array containing, we want to do set color. Yeah, so that should, basically we'll have one thing in our toolbox called colors, and then that'll have one block. Let's see if it works. Refresh. Hey, it didn't work. Let's see what we're doing wrong. Toolbox categories. We can run over to the example. I mean, look, like it's very minimal what those blocks actually look like when we define them. Tool. Yeah, I spelled that right, didn't I? Yeah. And then this is getting defined before we even render our app component. Also, I realized something. Our music stopped, and I'm not sure when. It was probably a while ago. So we're kicking it back off. Also, hopefully it's the right volume. I guess I'll find out afterwards whether it's the right volume. This is minus 10.6 decibels. Future self. I mean, like, there's some other stuff in here. for like workspace did change, but I don't think you need that in order to define your toolbox. Another thing that we could do, like maybe the problem is actually here. And so for whatever reason, set color is not getting defined, but maybe that text block is getting defined. No, okay, so I think it's a problem with our toolbox and not with the block itself. Maybe it wouldn't be that painful to just try it here. So let's say that there's a block, type equals set color, and then we'll say like x equals 300, y equals 300. Oh, I did just realize that each of these inputs is all called name. So we should change this to H, S, and B. H, S, B, and I think that's enough to boot it up. So let's try this. Yes! Okay, we successfully rendered a custom block in here. And look at that. Like plug that in. Be like 100. And this will be a number type rather than a string type. We can get to that. But look at that. Like starting to interact with it. Yes. Still don't know what's up with the toolbox, but I think that can be next session. Unless, I don't know, maybe there's like some really easy way to make this work. We can keep poking at it for another like 10 minutes. And then I think we can call it quits for the stream for today. Let's see. So you can either have blocks or categories of blocks. I mean, I didn't bother including all this other stuff, but it seems like we don't need it since these examples, like this one doesn't have it. But then again, like, oh, this is like a drop down. It's not a block connected to it. Values, text, but I guess this is a block connected to a block. So like the whole thing is just expressed as multiple blocks nested in JSON. You know, I just noticed a weird thing. This is React Blockly. This is Blockly Workspace. I probably copied that. I copied that from here. And that's like totally wrong. And somehow it still renders, which makes me think that this probably composes that other class or that other component. So I'll bet that's what we really want. If we run back over here, now it thinks it exists. Yeah. Not have any construct or call signature. Wait, what? Is this like export default thing? TypeScript declare module default. Yeah, there we go. That's what we want. Save that. All right, and now, okay, hold on a second. React Blockly. From here, where is that README? Import React Blockly from React Blockly. And that's what we have, right? We're pulling it right out of got that. Also import one of these components. Ah, and that was like nested underneath it. Okay. That's making sense. Yeah, I feel like we're super close. Is this really just a TypeScript error? Let's find out more about this error. I wonder if we should like dive right into here. We'll have to look at some generated code, which might be really difficult to read. Oh, post CS. Look at all that. React Blockly. Yeah, get ready, folks. What are we looking for? React Blockly. So what is the ES module? Oh no, we don't want to, that's the huge types. So this is referencing it right out of index. Export default Blockly editor. Well, okay, I mean, like, maybe we should be calling it that. But it's still the default. Is this just messing us up? Man, TypeScript is just letting us down. Sorry, folks. Like, I should have done some research to figure out, like, what was already there in terms of types, because this is supposed to be about creative coding, and instead it's all about, like, appeasing the TypeScript gods. My editor is not going to point me to the source code. I guess we've already seen the source code for it. And if I rename this, it's still the default export. We could do like, apparently this is equivalent, right? Because it exports it as the default and as that other thing, and as a const. And that. If I force this to rebuild. React Blockly has no exported member Blockly editor. Did you mean to use it? What about that? Okay. Oh, that wants to discard my tab. Hey! Look at that. Okay, okay. So now we can start to do some very cool things. Save that. Refresh. And there it is. Okay, so now at this point, we can, I don't think we need this anymore. Or this, for that matter. Like, just blank slate. Yeah. And then we can do light on, light off, and then what was that other one called? It's over here. Clock factory, start, yeah. Come back over to here. Oops. Start. Add some commas. This rebuild. Nothing in the workspace. Open up colors. Oh no! Oh hey, it's true. We all need to find set color. So now all we have to do, we know how to do this part, is we're gonna grab start, defined here. And you can see that like our current way of like defining all of this stuff in a single file is getting out of hand. So we're gonna have to find a way to extract this a little bit. Okay, so we've defined start, we've defined set color. Let's grab light on. Turn the music back on. There we go. And then light off. And like, yeah, I think it's just like a couple of characters different. But I'll copy paste it just so I don't mess it up. Okay, so now we've got start, set color, light on, light off. Okay, moment of truth. Refresh. There it is. Oh yeah. All right, so now we can be like, when the program starts, do this. Set the color to something, and then, oh, we should be like, turn the light on, set the color to that, and then turn the light off, and then like wait for a little bit. There should be something that's like wait a certain amount of time. Turn the light on, set the color again. You know, we can go real crazy. And obviously we can pull in like all of the other control flow type blocks that are just default. And we can bring those back. Okay. Oh, this is awesome. Made some good progress tonight, folks. Okay. Once again, this is the repo. So I'll drop this in chat. Repo once again. There's that. Let's get this committed really quick. It's all good. There's any. We can delete that. Stub out a few color related blocks. Okay, and that is up to date. Awesome. Well, thanks everybody. This was a good time. Blockly is just so cool. Like, it was a little bit unwieldy to get set up, but like this was kind of that initial like boilerplate phase where you gotta fuss around with all the details, and then once it starts rendering, you gotta focus more on the actual project. So that stuff's looking good now. Next time, I think we can focus more on the actual blocks, like which blocks do we want to show, how should they interact with each other. We can kind of like play around with those to think about what that experience might be like. And then once we're feeling pretty good about that, we can start building up the back end and start actually controlling stuff with it. Okay, I'll probably be back either next Tuesday or the following Tuesday, but I'm gonna try to set up like a kind of a weekly or bi-weekly kind of cadence for this stuff. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, and see you next time.